Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hit Cricket, your source for cricket analysis, commentary, and fun. I'm your host, Sean, joined by a global cricket fanatic, Rahul, coming to you live from Bangalore, and I'm coming to you live from Kerala. So we're in India this time, as you can see by the different camera setup and all. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about the Melbourne Test, and it's a very important test for India in their quest to qualify for the World Test Championship. So last time at the Gabba, India was kind of saved by the rain. They were looking like they were going to lose the test, but then fortunately for them, the last day got rained out, and it had to be called a draw. India bowled much better in the second innings, but it probably wouldn't have been enough if India had to continue with their second innings. So Rahul, give us a song, give us your thoughts. What's the deal here?
Yeah, as usual, I'll start with the song for the India situation. Uh, hey, Cummins, we coming, one, don't care if rain saved us. We start now afresh. Hey, only one bowler, just Bumrah has to save us day in, day out, batting flopper, but we have to continue trusting in them. Kohli, Rohit, please take some time, get some runs. Siraj and Akash, please support, then we will win. That's the kind of situation we're in. I mean, I've just been restating the same thing across multiple different songs, but the message is one. We have one guy, Jasprit Bumrah, is giving the life out for the team. He needs support with Siraj and Akashdeep. I thought Akashdeep bowled decently last game, but they need to contribute more support in terms of wicket taking and containing runs as well. And as far as the batting is concerned, I mean, our whole top order has been a complete failure except for KL Rahul. I mean, Yashasvi Jaiswal showed in that one innings, but other than that, he hasn't stepped up much either. So definitely that top order needs to fire a lot more. And what better time to do it than now when it's a must-win game for the World Test Championship final? Series is poised 1-1. MCG Boxing Day Test match can't get much better and bigger than this. Probably like this is Boxing Day tests are like one of the biggest events in Test cricket, and the crowd will be outstanding. The MCG, no better environment. I'm really excited for it.
Hmm. Yeah, 90 potentially 90,000 people at the MCG. It's uh, quite the environment that India has to combat. Probably many Australian fans there. So yeah,
I think there'll be
like you.
more Indian fans. Actually,
Ah,
I don't think there'll be more Indian. There'll be a good amount of Indian fans wherever they
oh
go.
yeah. I mean, everywhere you go, cricket, there'll be India fans, no matter where you're playing. So that'll be a very fun to watch. But yeah, let's start talking about the conditions in Melbourne. So generally, Melbourne is better for seam bowling, not really conducive to spin. But in general, India performs much better at the MCG compared to the previous three tests wherever they played. And they've won the last two test series or test matches at the MCG. So, Rahul, what are your thoughts on the conditions and how it could play for both teams?
I mean, I think the way the test itinerary is set up, I think this is the great space for India coming in 1-1 because if you think about it, Perth is somewhere Australia dominates with all the bounce, and to be able to win there was outstanding for India. And Adelaide day night test, again, favoring Australia. So although we lost there, it was expected. Australia should have been favorites, barring how India played magnificently in Perth. That's why we gave them the favorites tag. But, Australia in a day night match at Adelaide without taking anything else into consideration, would be favorites. And if you think about the Gabba, it's basically Australia's fortress. They've lost a couple before, but it's basically their fortress. So to not lose there as well and come out with a draw was a positive result as well. Regardless of how the draw came, a draw is a draw. And going in series tied into Melbourne is magnificent because this is a great chance for India to win because the last two test matches India have played at Melbourne, they've won. And they've won them pretty convincingly as well. I think the last time around, the Ajinkya Rahane hit a splendid century. Led from the front as captain, and we've had success at Melbourne. So I think as far as the conditions said, you're right. It favors the pace bowlers more, but it's also a decent wicket to bat on. There are runs to be had here, so it's very important to get a good first innings total around 300 to 400 runs to just break the back of the opposition.
Do you think India will bat first or bowl first if they have the choice?
I mean, I'd bat first because I think the wicket, although there will be assistance for seamers initially, if the batters can get through the first 20, 30 overs, as has been the case throughout the series, then it'll be great to bat on. As we've seen, the teams that have survived those initial bursts with the new ball have gone on to score big scores, like India in the second innings at Perth, Australia in the first innings at the Gabba, and then Australia also in the first innings in Adelaide. So it's just about surviving that initial phase. And I'm always someone who wants to show that positive attitude and bold approach. And I win the toss and bat first and trust the batters to stay out there and give us a good score on the board.
That's a fair point to me. But let's be clear, India needs to bat much better here than they did in the previous test.
Yeah, I mean, if
Uh,
you dawdle to 50 for 5 and limp your way to 200 again, then no one's saving you. Then don't criticize me that India batted first and they're limping towards a loss. That's not on my part. I'm saying, assuming they bat like international cricketers and not gully cricketers.
a bold statement by Rahul there. KL Rahul actually performed pretty solidly at the Gabba in the last test, but the rest of the batters got to step up. Oh, and Jadeja also, he played well. But uh, if you want to add anything there, feel free.
Yeah, I like the Rahul transition, but yeah, I think yeah, he's been our best batter on the tour by stretch. I think the way he's been leaving balls, and he just showed so much application, and that he deserved a century at the Gabba. Unfortunately, couldn't get it, but he's due one. He's due a big innings, and I'm really happy with the way he's played. But yeah, like you said, the other batters have to find their way to just bat time. Just keep leaving balls. Just get your iron. Play 50, 60 balls. I don't care if you have 5 runs in 60 balls or even 2 runs in 60 balls, but get your iron because then you can apply yourself and play your shots. Like we saw that Steve Smith grind in the last test match. He started off very slow, but then once he got his iron, he was able to ramp up his strike rate immensely. So that kind of innings is what it takes to get back into form on these kind of wickets.
Yeah, and India has that type of those type of patient batsmen uh, in their squad. So I don't see, or if they can do that, I think that'll be a great start for them there. But let's talk about the playing 11 for Australia first. The big news: Nathan McSweeney has been dropped. Some may say it's a little bit of an unfair shake for him, but in comes Sam Konstas, the teenager, the sensation. In the warm-up match against India, when he was in the Prime Minister's 11, he hit a century, played some very aggressive shots. I think it came off of only 97 balls or something like that. Uh, so he looked very good against all the Indian bowlers aside from Bumrah because he wasn't playing that game. But yeah, that's the one big change there for Australia. Sam Konstas has been confirmed that he'll be in the playing 11 at the MCG. So there's also some questions surrounding Travis Head's fitness. Yeah, Travis Head's fitness. I think he has a groin injury, but they'll test it out and see if he's going to play. It's more likely that he will play. So Rahul, what are your thoughts on Australia as a playing 11, and in particular that change, putting in Sam Konstas in for McSweeney?
I mean, Constance is a real talent, but you talked about the century, the key bowling exclusion. Who was it? Jasprit Bumrah. And I mean, he's basically half that bowling attack. So you take out Bumrah, then that bowling attack is just like nothing compared to it with Bumrah. So I mean, I wouldn't see that 100 as much because you have Jasprit Bumrah charging at you with the new ball, and I feel that was really unfair on McSweeney to drop him because if you saw all 5 of his dismissals have come to Jasprit Bumrah, I'm pretty sure, and other than the last game where he was forced to play some shots because they're trying to go for an early declaration where he chased after a wide one. He's been just getting really good balls where the half of them have been unplayable, and you've got the world's best bowler coming at you at 140 plus, swinging it both ways with the new ball. He can't do much, and I felt he did a really good job playing out time and getting through the new ball on a lot of occasions so that the middle order batters could cash in, and he just didn't get that big score. So I feel it's really unfair to drop him, but as you mentioned, Sam Konstas is a real good talent. I think he had a good knock in the BBL as well. So as far as confidence is concerned, he'd be coming in high on confidence. So yeah, but Bumrah's a different beast, and we have to see if he can tackle that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But
I
I
think
think
every
it's Oh,
yeah, go
sorry.
on.
Yeah, the change as itself is concerned, I mean, I feel it's unfair dropping McSweeney, but only time will tell whether it's a good change or not.
Mm. No, yeah, I think every batsman for Australia has struggled against Bumrah, or at least most of them have. So, I mean, I wouldn't put that against McSweeney, to be fair, that he was struggling. But I did see some statistics saying that compared to the other batsmen against the other bowlers for India, McSweeney was performing the worst. So I guess perhaps that's where the decision came from. Perhaps he bats too similarly to Khawaja, to Labuschagne. So Konstas is in general an aggressive player. He's quite the talent, as you previously mentioned, mentored by Shane Watson. So I think his inclusion will be very interesting to watch. And any thoughts on Head's fitness at all? Will he
Yeah,
play?
I think he'll play, bro. He's a headache. He'll play. He won't want to miss out on free runs he'll get against us. He'll play.
Fair, fair enough.
He needs to pump the average up, right?
I mean, against India, that's always an opportunity for him. As you guys know, he was had a man of the match performance against them at the Gabba, so no doubt that
I
he'll
really wish
perform.
we can get him in the new ball at some point because I don't think he'll last that long if you get him in within the first 10, 12 overs. So yeah, just we have to see. We have to try
Yeah,
and get through that top order pretty quick.
yeah, like you said in previous episodes, if you get him within the first 10, 20 balls of his innings, then that'll be perfect for India. Like, because you said that's where he's most vulnerable. So we'll see if
Absolutely.
they can do that. We'll see if they can do that. Let's hope so. But let's talk about the playing 11 for India. Don't think there'll be that many changes. They brought in Akash Deep. It was a much needed change. He did solid, didn't pick up wickets, but he was very economic, and he didn't give up too much. And one question that we it's probably not much of a question, but which spinner they'll go with? Whether they might go with two spinners, Jadeja and Washington Sundar. They brought in Tanush Kotian for Ashwin, but it's very likely that he won't see playing time. And yeah, that's pretty much all the playing 11 changes that could potentially happen. But
I
I do
think
want to ask a question. Is it time to drop Rohit Sharma? I know he's the captain, but the form is a little frustrating, and he himself knows that he's not playing well. So, Rahul, what are your thoughts on the playing 11?
so. I'll tackle question one by one. You're talking about the spinners. I'd bring in second spinner as Devdutt Padikkal. He showed his credentials in the net by cleaning up Rohit Sharma. So, I mean, when you get such a legendary batter out, you've earned your side into the test setup, I'm assuming. And, he can bat a bit as well. So, I think if you get Padikkal in place of Rohit Sharma, it'd be perfect. uh, just to give you that off spin variety. And I think he'd be able to break through a couple batters. But yeah, I mean, jokes apart, yeah, I think as far as spinners is concerned, Jadeja justified his role. And, you know, I'm really sad Ashwin retired. We made a whole separate video on that. So go check that out, please. Yep, but yeah, I think Jadeja will continue. He justified his spot, and I think they're only going to go with one spinner and continue with the pace trio of Siraj, Akashdeep, and Bumrah with Nitish Kumar Reddy as the seam bowling all rounder. But uh, as far as Rohit Sharma is concerned, I mean, I said this at the preview of the second Test match itself. Is he a liability or is he an asset? And although I do think he has a big inning still left in him, it's just the clock is ticking, and I feel like when Nanish was there, he mentioned it as well. If nothing happens in these next four innings, then I think he's gonna announce his retirement. It's pretty sad, but the issue is it's just he's not looking comfortable at all. Like he looks very timid. He looks like he's gonna get out any ball, and that's something that's really worrisome. And like it's just the same pattern of dismissal, like the ball coming back in and either LBW or bowled. Last game it was an edge, but they know where to bowl to him, so it's really worrisome. And I don't know, even at number six, when the ball is slightly older and there's not as much help for the seamers, he's still struggling a lot. I mean, you got three top class bowlers running in at you, but still, I mean, it's just really sad seeing such a legend go down like this. And although I did say he should be dropped in the second test itself. These are the times where you have to back your legends and back your players, I think. I mean, no point dropping him in the fourth test match when it's 1-all, when you need your big players to step up. It's 1-all, you're playing a Boxing Day test match at the MCG, 90,000 people in front. I think you have to have your best players and your match winners and your most experienced players out there. And this is the time where we have to trust the likes of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli the most and expect that they will step up to the big occasion and perform. So, this is if any time is the wrong time to drop Rohit or Kohli, it's now. I mean, you have to back them here.
Yeah, good on you for mentioning Virat Kohli's form also, because it's not
Yeah.
like he's been performing well either. And yeah, you're right though. They got to back those two legends,
And I
and
mean,
it's
I've reiterated a bunch of times. I'm a huge Virat Kohli fan, one of the biggest Virat Kohli fans there can be. But the fact is a fact. He's not batting well. He's also looking vulnerable against that ball outside off stump. He just keeps chasing after the cover drive, or he has that technical flaw in his defense. I think where it's just he keeps edging the balls outside off stump, and that's something he really needs to work on and just practice leaving balls in the nets. And he's one guy who's a damn hard worker, and he look to bounce back all the time. So his work ethics are absolutely magnificent, and I think he deserves a break. And for all the work he's put in, I do see definitely a big innings from both Rohit and Kohli around the corner, especially in such a high pressure game like this.
absolutely. I mean, Virat Kohli is a master of his craft, and same can be said about Rohit Sharma. Both of them are incredibly talented players, legends for India, and uh, like you said, we could see a big innings from them, especially like you said, it's a batting friendly pitch potentially. There are runs to be had. So about time we talk about predictions. Do you think that India could pull off the victory here and take the lead in the Test series, or do you think they'll fall here at the MCG, Rahul?
I actually think India are favorites. It's bold call, but I think India have what it takes in them. I feel like the way Akashdeep bowled last game was inspiring. Although he didn't take the wickets, it was inspiring. And I just feel like that last wicket partnership between Akash and Siraj to avoid the fall on just gave that second life to the Indian players who were it was a very down time, giving up 450, losing at Adelaide first, and then giving up 450 in the first innings, being 50 for 5, 70 for 5. But I feel that fight back from KL Rahul Jadeja and then Akashdeep and Bumrah's final wicket partnership, that just revived the team. And we saw how they bowled in the second innings. That just would give them even more confidence. And I just feel, given all of that, India is just coming in like we were able to avoid what should have been a loss for us, and Australia is coming in like we should have won that game. So I feel India is the happier side coming in. So I feel India should be very confident coming into this, and I don't know, somewhere in me, I'm sensing that there's gonna be Kohli and Rohit are both gonna have big innings in this match. Feel like they're gonna have a really big partnership. I don't know, something, just a gut feel. Feel like they're gonna get back into form, and we're gonna see Akashdeep and Siraj support Bumrah well, and Jadeja also chip in with the ball a bit when he needs to. So I actually see India as 53-47 favorites.
Ooh, that is a very bold call, but it's a fair point to be said that
And there's no
near the end.
Hazelwood either. Remember, Scott
Oh,
Boland is, yeah,
oh
Hazelwood
yeah,
is out for the BGT. We forgot to mention that.
oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, the okay, you're right. Yeah, Boland will be playing there for
But
Australia.
Boland at the MCG is a separate threat of his own. That's where he got that six for
That
against
six,
England, where he blew the whole
yeah.
side away. So I
Ooh,
mean, I don't know if that's too much of a difference. Boland is still a huge threat, so I don't think that
mm,
impacts Australia in any way. So it's still gonna be same difficulty, but I still back India to pull it off at the Chief.
yeah. I mean, when Boland came in earlier in the series as well, it's not like he played bad or anything. So he has slotted right in and performed his role perfectly. So
Yeah,
in
abs absolutely,
you go.
Hazelwood is a class player, but Boland is like a perfect replacement, especially at MCG where he loves bowling here.
Mm,
He
100%.
might be even better than what Hazelwood would be, but Hazelwood's class.
Mm, yeah, completely agree. But as for my prediction, I'd say it's I got to go somewhere, right? I'll give it the edge to Australia, like 51-49, because I know you talked about the momentum, which is 100% there for India, and the feel of the team after being able to scrap that last wicket partnership with Bumrah and Akashdeep. You saw the faces of Virat, Kohli, and the rest of the guys in the dugout. They were all they seemed happier than what the result was at the time. So,
Yeah, and then
like,
we had other people like feeling fully burned out, seeing those reactions, thinking
yeah, I
that
saw that.
they
Yeah.
were like celebrating that they couldn't bat again. And I mean, just live with it, you guys. You couldn't win the game. We draw through it. Yeah.
Exactly. It keeps India alive here. But I do think I'll give the edge to Australia 51-49 because it's not like they played bad. They literally in the first innings they hit 450 as you said. So it's to be seen whether they can continue that form, but Steve Smith with that 100 he could be back in form, and that was the one thing he wasn't able to do in the previous two tests before this the one at the Gabba. So I mean one of the best test batsmen of all time getting back into form, that's some trouble for India. And maybe the change of Nathan McSweeney could do something, even though it might have been a little unfair for him. Konstas is in great form, and he showed that against India before. So we'll see. I think Australia come in as slight favorites because of how they're playing. But yeah, it's
I
to
might
be
have
seen.
the emotion taking over the logic, but I really do think the like India is the happier side out of the two, considering 1-1 going into Melbourne and Sydney, where India is expected to do better. So I don't know. I just feel like this is the stage where our legends step up, and I think all our experienced players are gonna have their days, and I feel like definitely Kohli and Rohit are not the kind to go out with like with this kind of uh they're not the kind of guys who will go out with failures like this. They ended their T20 careers with a World Cup. I mean, I don't see them going out on a low. I definitely see them scoring runs at some point, and I believe it's here at the MCG in front of that huge crowd, high pressure game. I feel like you can bank on these legends to pull it off.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, and these type of players to reach the legendary status that they have, you need to have some mental fortitude, right? So if there's any two players that can overcome the struggles that they've had in this series so far, it's those two guys. So let's hope so as India fans. But yeah, that should be everything for the Melbourne Test. And yeah, we'll catch you guys in a video where we potentially review some of the days of the test. So yeah, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yes, guys, surprise.
Surprise.